HB2827 and the Nick and Ray night coming up at the Stickney American Legion in just moments. We'll do that at 6:50 this morning. But I want to bring in Lisa Edison. Lisa Edison is a homeschooling mom. Man, that's got to be a lot of work. And she's the moderator of the DuPage County Homeschoolers Facebook group. Go and give them a follow. Lisa, welcome to WLS. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
So let's talk about this homeschool bill. I know that it's passed out of committee. This is Tara Costa Howard out of Glenn Ellen's bill. And what it would do is it would require families like yours to provide information to the state, like the names of your students. They want to put in like a truancy clause. I mean, if you're homeschooling, I don't know how you can be truant. You live there, you're home. What are some of the other parts of this bill that bother you and the parents that do homeschool kids?
So yeah, this is a very invasive, intrusive amount of information that they're asking for us to register this form that's going to be required every year, with names, addresses, gender identity, questions like that. And we're just really concerned because we haven't gotten straight answers of actually what are they going to be doing with this information? Who is going to be enforcing this? If they're, including private schools in this, homeschool is a private school. So the big push on this is that they're going to be protecting the children, protecting students, making sure that they're safe and protected. But private school students are already under the umbrella of teachers and administration. So why do they need to collect their data to keep them safe? So we just don't really understand what they're doing with the information that they want us to provide to them. They aren't giving us anything in return. We don't have access to public school, resources. Our children don't get to go to the public school and utilize a lot of the things that they have there, like sports or anything like that, unless they're enrolled in the school. So we're not getting anything for providing the information. We just don't really understand it, to be quite honest.
I'll be quite honest with you. My kids are, they went through the public school system. I thought they had a nice experience, but I think it's changed so much. Just in the last 5 or 10 years, you have all this woke ideology and things like that where we can't figure out what bathroom we want kids to be in. I mean, you've got this story out of Deerfield with this mom and her daughter now. Man, they're making it all the way to Washington, D.C. about the whacked ideology that the progressive left seems to have when it comes to schools. What is it that bothers you most about, and I guess my question should be, why did you decide, what was that number one deciding factor that you could do a better job, you and your husband or you or your family could do a better job than the local public school?
Listen, we love our children. We want the best for them of everything possible. So much so that we want to spend all day, every day with them and help them become the best people that they possibly can, right? We want them to be the best versions. We want to give them the most opportunities. And homeschool provides this individualized approach to learning. Personally, for our family, we have a son with severe ADHD. He was not going to be successful in a traditional school setting. We need to customize an education program for him. And we have four kids total. We are going to bring them all under our guide. And we feel that we are doing a really wonderful job educating them and leading them to be really, really well-rounded individuals, productive members of our society. Our children, personally, we have a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, and our 12-year-old. Again, we needed something personalized for our family, and that's why we chose to homeschool.
I can't even imagine the kind of work that you have to put into it. And it works for you, but it's got to just be, I mean, the amount of work and the hours. How do you come up with a curriculum? Is the curriculum something that comes through the state, or do you decide it? How does that happen?
This isn't 1960. We have an abundance of information at our fingertips called the internet. And there is so much information and opportunity for homeschool parents to have access to resources. We have anything from curriculum kits that are available, online programs that the children are being tracked in proficiency, their grades, their GPAs, they're taking quizzes, they're taking tests. There's co-ops, co-schools, homeschool programs for in-person experiences. There's live Zoom online classes that kids can take with other students all across the country. There's social media groups like DuPage County Homeschoolers connecting parents to all sorts of resources. We are, there for one another. We're helping each other. It's really a village of support. There is so much that we have available at our fingertips, and we can use it effectively and efficiently in a day where our children don't have to sit for 8 hours in anyone's face. They can tackle things in 3 hours, and then they have all day to do something that they might be very passionate about, like sports, music, art, and then they can hone in on some of those other things. Kids are going to take classes at COD so that they can get, college credit for classes, dual credit hours. There's kids graduating early. We have kids that are taking, getting their pilot's license. There's so much ability for us to really customize what each individual child needs, and all of the resources are out there. We do not have to go through the state to find anything. There is so much available for us.
I hate to say it, but just the safety aspect of leaving your kids in your care enough would be, I would have to think that if I had kids today, this might be something that I'd have to look at. Nick, you go through this. You have kids in school. But Nick Gale is in the newsroom. This is Lisa Edison. She's a homeschool mom. She's being loud, and she ought to be.
Well, Lisa, so much of what you said, and it makes me think that, not every kid can sit there and focus and is a book learner, let's say. There's kids that physically want, my oldest son can do it. My youngest son is more of a hands-on. He wants to go out there and get a hammer and pound nails into a board. So I got to think that homeschooling, for you, like you said, you have those, the outside of the classroom hours, let's call it, where those kids can explore their passions and what they're really good at.
Listen, we take 30 field trips a year. 30 field trips a year. How many field trips are, other students getting?
3, maybe?
Field trips a year.
Yeah.
So, and you're right, my ADHD son, he has to do 30 minutes of schoolwork, and then he's out playing in the yard. 30 minutes of schoolwork. He hits up the baseball batting cages down the street. 30 minutes of school. That's how I need to get him through his day so that he's the most successful. So, yes. And you know what? It's scary. They're saying our failure to comply, may cause us to be truants. And there's who is enforcing this?
Yeah, right.
I have spoken to high school superintendents in the South Side. They do not have truancy officers for themselves. So who is going to be coming after the homeschoolers?
Right.
And what if nobody fills out this form? 7,000 people showed up to the Capitol building on the 19th, or over 7,000. So if 7,000 people are not going to fill out this form, how are they going to mandate this? How are they going to enforce this? You know what they're going to do is, unfortunately, it's going to come down to depleting resources from the public school districts and the superintendents and the regional offices, where they're taking these resources then away from those children that need it, that are in those school districts, and they're coming after the homeschoolers who, hey, we're good. We don't need any help.
Yeah,
We're doing great.
I don't want the state of Illinois to tell me how to educate kids because I see the proficiency.
Sure.
Well, you have to take your life in your hands to send your kids to a Chicago public school, nor do I want Governor Pritzker telling me how I need to be healthy. And that's what they do. There's a money component here. We just don't know what that is yet, but it's just bigger government. I don't know why we can't just let kids be kids, let people make the decisions they want to make. We're supposed to live in a free country. Let me ask you this. When those 7,000 parents convened on the state capitol, did you bring your kids and count that as a civics lesson and as a field trip all in one?
Absolutely. They learn so much. And they're learning how to be active members of their community.
Yeah.
This is called responsible citizenship. We need to teach our kids to be involved, right? And that is exactly what they saw. And let me tell you, they were the most well-behaved. I've been on a lot of field trips at the same time as other groups or schools that are out, and often you'll see the homeschool kids they're sitting well-mannered. They might be sketching or writing in a book. They may be reading, just waiting until it's their turn, right? We had the most beautiful turnout. These children were so well-mannered, respectful. It was amazing. And there were so many of them, and that was ours because that hearing was delayed and it went so long, right? So those kids were sitting there for hours, and there was no running through the halls. There was nobody screaming. There was no roughhousing. They were so amazing.
It's a shame.
I'm so proud of them.
It's a shame that I think the average taxpayer in Illinois pays between $11,000 and $13,000 a year for taxes, and yet, we can't trust the schools to do a good job with our kids, and parents like you are forced to take an alternate route, but you're doing it. Lisa, we'll have you on again. Good luck to you and your kids, and we'll follow this one, man. This is a hot button topic. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You have a wonderful day. Give her a follow, too. Homeschooling Mom. It is the DuPage County Homeschoolers Facebook group. That, Nick, is a lot of work. Could you imagine?